Hello, my sweet friend. It's Christina, and welcome to a new episode of the Art Cake Coach podcast. Hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to the Art Cake Coach podcast. My name is Cristina Revalo. I'm a sugar paste modeling artist, a teacher, a coach for cake artists, Cake Friends Day creative community manager, award-winning cake decorator, and representative of international cake competitions. I'm so happy to have you here. If you are a cake artist, a cake enthusiast, or a baker who is seeking some help in anything related to your time management, social media management, setting your goals for yourself or your business, your mindset towards your business, or even a few hints of how to be part of the international cake community, cake collaboration, and cake competitions, you are in the right place. So welcome to today's episode. Hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to another episode of the Art Cake Coach podcast. Christina here. I'm so happy to be here with you today. It's a little bit later than usual when I'm recording this episode. A few things that happened today. Funny things. No, things that were programmed to happen, but the result was not what I was expecting, but actually a big lesson. I'll probably do another episode about that one of these days. Because sometimes the universe sends you messages in the most unexpected ways. But it's funny because today actually we're going to be talking about money mindset. I decided that the month of July we were going to be talking about mindset in general. So each episode it's going to reflect part of our mind well-being and positive thoughts and positive mindset towards something that at the end of the day is going to help us towards our cake businesses. So last episode was Creativity Heals. I loved that episode. There were feedbacks about it. There was a specific comment that really touched me because it was from one of the members of one of the collaborations and mentioning how I reminded of this person of the moment that we were going through when we were in the middle of the pandemic, and how in the edge of depression this person was. And she said, when you mentioned that, and you mentioned that through the work that we did in the groups and in the collaborations, it was a healing process. But only until you mentioned it, I realized how much it was a healing process. And that really touched my heart, because I mean, if it's 20 comments, if it's one comment, but if there's somebody in the other side of this microphone that this message does something for you, my work is done, my mission is accomplished. So I'm very, very grateful about that comment. And it was a lovely episode. I loved doing it. It was even healing for me, because it's funny when I tell you things, when I talk to all of you, and when I share with you my thoughts, it usually are things that I need to hear myself. And it's some part of me like telling, one Christina telling another part of Christina, like, listen to what you're saying, because maybe you need to hear it too. And actually, I went back to some of my roots creatively, and I'm just, like I mentioned in the episode, I started to work just for the sake of working, just for the sake of being creative, and it's really healing. It's really beautiful. But that's enough of the last episode, because I really want to focus on today's episode. Today's episode, let me tell you the story. I think I've been preparing for this episode for, I don't know, about 6 months, I guess, because this is not something that I learned a long time ago, but it's not something that I learned yesterday. Money mindset. When the year started, the year 2023, I realized that, I had an idea where I wanted to go and where I wanted to learn, and in what aspects of my life I wanted to grow. And one of them was, of course, money. We all started the year like, I want to make more money this year. But it wasn't just about the money. It was about what the money meant for me, what my mindset towards making money, because not just only the mindset towards the money per se, but making money meant to me. And I thought about it. I thought, like, yeah, that's something I need to take care of. And when you set a goal and when you write it down and when you work towards that goal, things happen. And I came across books, courses, coaches, amazing people that have come into my life to show me in so many different ways how I was thinking about money and how that affected everything that I have been doing for the past 15 years in my cake business and in my life in general, but in my cake business. And I'm going to be very candid with this story today, very open, because there's no other way you can understand what I mean if I'm not absolutely honest about the story. So this is the background of the episode. This is a story. I started my cake business 15 years ago. And at the beginning, it was profitable. It was okay. It was good. It was going well. Like I said, it was word of mouth marketing, because I was really not doing any big marketing. But I was always busy. I was always making cakes and I was making money. My husband had a very, very steady income. So the money that I had was extra money. That's it. I was working from home. My main focus at that time was taking care of my little girl. So it was not like, okay, I'm gonna open a bakery or anything. So I was making money monthly, and I was happy with it. I was paying all the ingredients, paying everything, but very basic. But I never really studied, or I never really took the time to grow that, to grow the money, to grow the business, because it was something I didn't even want. And that when I read one of the books, it remind me an episode that many times happened when I made the cakes, is that I didn't want people to give me the money. It was like I dreaded the moment that the person was going to pay me. And I'm going to confess something. A couple of good friends that just were clients, but you're delivering the cake and you're just talking and talking and talking. And I left. And they didn't even give me the money because I forgot. Because it was not, I didn't want to deal with that. I thought in my head, oh, because money is not important. I'm here for the art. No, no, no. I was so wrong. It's because I didn't want to face the fact of the money. I didn't know back then why, but I didn't want to face money. Okay. Years went on. I kept doing what I had to do. I kept making money, but not like a lot of money. I just, steady income. I started teaching, making a little bit more money. Everything was okay and smoothly, but without any money education, without any money knowledge, or knowledge of the money or finances, or how to grow or invest my money. So, as long as I had the money, it was good. It was okay. And I'm very candid with you today, because I am very sure that this must be many of your stories, but we're so scared and afraid to talk about it that we just nod when people is like, oh, this person is not, making any interesting financial decisions with their money. And you're like, oh yeah, come on, how could they? But you're not either. Or this person is not investing the money. I was thinking, but now it's like, yeah, sure. And you're like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And it's just like, I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about money. As long as I keep having clients and they keep paying me, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have money in the bag. But that's it. And through the years, and of course after pandemic and after the economy started going down, I realized that this has to change. And what happens is, after the pandemic, I actually stopped baking. I start teaching again, and I have my income teaching. I always had a steady income teaching. But again, I was not paying attention to the money. And I realized that the less I pay attention to the money, the less ownership I had over that money, and the money went away easily. And I didn't have money Could be at the end of the month, could be after a couple of months, could be after a vacation or whatever. I wasn't taking really care of the money. And I guess when you grow older and you start realizing many things in your life, you're like, oh, come on. There's something that needs to be done here. I really need to educate myself with money. How to invest it, how to take care of my finances, how to think about money. But the issue, and that's when I'm, after asking myself all of these questions and thinking, yes, you have to learn and you have to study, I realized that I didn't like to talk about money. The issue was not the finances. The issue was not the investment. The issue was not, calculating growth. The issue was not calculating the prices of my cakes. The issue was that I had issues with money, period. And I was like, this has to change. And I started since January working on mindset, or changing my mindset towards my money. Started very funny because I started by enrolling on Tony Robbins course for that, which made me realize so many other things, and I learned so many other things, and that set me into a path of self-discover and finding authors and people and other coaches that are just amazing. That gave me the strength to really start my coaching with you guys through the RK Coach. I learned about my health. I learned about many things, but it set me in the path of keep looking for somebody to help me with my money. That's when I met many coaches. One of them will be on the podcast one of these days, also a cake artist. It made me buy books. It made me talk about it. And when you talk about it, when you put it out there in the universe answers, because the universe, energy, God, angels, whatever you want to call it, it answers back. And I ask for it. I really need to take care of this issue that I have with money. And I need the tools. I really need the tools. And the tools came to me. So what I'm going to share with you today, after giving you my very, very candid story, and during the episode, I will tell you a little bit of more background of why my thought of money was wrong. But when the episode goes, because the episode is going to be very informative, but what I want to share with you today is those little tools that helped me realize that I first of all that I had issues with money, that my view of money was not clear, was not positive, first of all. And second, the tools that help me change that to the point that if I see something today that it could be a course, and the course can be $500 or euros. And if that course, I know the value of that course is important for me, I don't hesitate. I just invest in that because it's an investment for me. I'm learning so much about teaching my children how to not have that scarcity mind about money. All of that changed because I set things in motion. So first takeaway of the episode, set things in motion. Have a clear goal and say you want to change that. I want to change that. I want to learn this, or I want to do something. Set things in motion and things will come. So this is what I'm sharing with you today. Stay tuned. I'm going to go to a little break where we will talk about one of our sponsors. But when we come back, I will start giving you some tips on how to have a positive mindset towards your money. And today's episode is brought to you by Delicious Magazine. Step into the enchanted world with our fairies and forest issue. The July issue is here and it's magical. It's a collection of enchanted tutorials and wonderful features. We have interviews, features, tutorials, collabs, and the regulars, of course, and exclusive discount for our readers. Download the magazine or subscribe and save 20%. All of the links will be here in the description of this episode. Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Delicious Magazine, for being one of the sponsors of the Art Cake Coach podcast. So, having a positive mindset or a positive money mindset is crucial for your financial well being and overall for your happiness. It is the base of your self worth. It is the base of how you see yourself. I mean, when I mean self worth, I mean how much you value you, not what you have, but you. And as a result, the worth, of course, of your cakes and your edible art or your classes. Because what we charge for our cakes is a direct reflection of what we think we are worth. And doesn't matter how many classes and courses you take on calculating prices, if you don't work first on how much you value yourself, you will never get it. And you will keep struggling with money. One of my dear coaches, if you're listening, because probably you're listening, that I help her with some other issues she has, like all of my coaches, I mean, things that they want to change in their life, other mindsets, other issues, I don't know, imposter syndrome, whatever. But she looked at me very, straightforward and said, I'm never gonna charge less than, I don't know, $100 for a cake. That's ridiculous. And I was like, wow, she's so sure of that. And it's like, that doesn't even cross my mind, because that's not me. There you go. You ask for what you are. The amount of energy, because the money is energy, that you ask for is the amount of energy that you have yourself and that you value in you. And that's one of the first things that I learned. It was that I wasn't valuing myself enough. I am a very confident person. I know I'm, smart. I'm resourceful. I can face anything that comes my way, but I wasn't giving myself the worth that I deserve. And that's why money was an issue. There are ways to cultivate a positive money mindset, but first we need to understand where we stand with our money beliefs. And that's why I mentioned this whole story before. If you don't come to terms with your issues, with your demons, with your background, you're never going to know how to move forward. Your mindset, or how your mind is set towards money right now, will determine how much you're going to change. We have to understand our money background. And I don't mean having, a trust fund or a rich family, but how we were raised about money. And that's another of the parts that I want to share with you in the first story that I said I'm going to share it later. I was raised with a family that had monetary issues. Money was never enough. My father struggled with money all his life, still till today. It's the truth. Never had never had any idea of investing or growing your money, because that was for rich people. That was not for us. We were struggling. And the constant phrase in my house, oh, we don't have money for that. It's like, can we go out and eat? No, we don't have money for that. Can we buy a new pair of shoes? We don't have money for that. Can we, I don't know, go on a holiday? No, we don't have money for that. It's like, we were not on that list of people in the world that had money for that. We were not. So when you grow up in an environment like that, also, of course, I come from Venezuela, which was still a country with a very unstable economy. So nobody thought about saving money. You had money, you spend it, because the inflation was through the roof every single month. So you didn't know how much things were going to cost the next week. So why keeping money? If you didn't have enough money to invest, like in, I don't know, properties or lands or something, it's like, just spend it, because otherwise forget it. So growing up, that background also set a bunch of ideas in my head, and gave me a mindset towards the money that is like, it's not for me to have the money. I don't have it. I just, other people have that money. Me, I don't. So you grow up with that and you keep listening to that, and you grow up in a situation of an unstable financial situation because of the country, because of your house, or if you grow up with a family that that struggles a lot, that you copy all of that into your mind, into your subconscious. I'm not blaming anybody, because that's another thing you learn. Don't blame the past, don't blame your parents, because whatever they did the best they could. They didn't know either. What you can do now is come to terms with that in order to change it. And that's what I did. I realized that, I grew up with this set of thoughts about money that are not getting me anywhere. I'm not gaining anything with that set of thoughts. So I need to change them. And you can, maybe you're in the other spectrum, on the other side of the spectrum, like somebody who's always have money somehow because your parents grew up, or you grew up in a family that nobody talked about money issues, because in my family nobody talked about money. That was taboo. Nobody says anything about money, or they said too much, and I think that was not healthy. But a house where money's not discussed because it's just there all the time. So you just want something, you buy it, or your parents want to change something in the house and they do it. So for you, it's like there's no issue with money. There's always money. Maybe you realize that today you're still behaving like that and you still have the money somehow. So all of this process of where we live, how we were raised, all this background is part of our money mindset. The time period that you live, if you live in a time where economy was bad, all of this is has to be taken into consideration when we think what or where my thoughts about money come. Because at the end of the day, those thoughts are the ones that form the idea of what is the value we give to money and what money represents to us. Until you face all those demons, you'll never be able to change anything. I can tell you, I have told you my story and how it affected even my business for a very long time. So before we go into how to fix it, I'm going to share with you a few issues that you might be having or you haven't figured out yet, and they can be preventing you from having a positive mindset towards money. Number one, scarcity. You believe that money is limited, that you will run out of it, or there is not enough money for everyone in the world. This leads to fear, to anxiety, to be worried. You always focus on what you don't have instead of what you have. And I have to say, I was there. I was there for a very long time. I believe that other people have money, but not me. It was like half and half. My scarcity was with myself. Everybody else, yeah, everybody has money, but me. And I kept focusing, and I don't have that. I don't have this. I want this and I don't have it and I can't. Instead of, I want that. How do I get there? But funny, that was towards money, because when I talk about education, when I talk about learning, when I talk about getting a job or finding out how to create, how to bake a cake or how to create a modeling sugar piece, it's like I'm very resourceful. And but in money side, I was like, I don't have that. So no, I won't be doing it because I don't have that. So I had that fear of success. Some people might have this. You relate money and success with something bad, with negativity, with evil, or the fear that comes with financial responsibilities. Rich people is bad. A lot of people have this idea that, rich people, yeah, they're bad because they think they know it all, or they think they can have it all, or they think they rule the world. And you create this fear towards having money that at the end of the day is a fear of success. Because what you really fear is that if you succeed, if you keep growing, your responsibilities will grow as well. So there's a fear on that. I had a little bit of that as well. Not of rich people is bad, I don't think so. But I think I had a little bit of difficulties or fear of responsibilities. Like, I never opened a bakery, I never opened a big business because, it's like, oh, well, then, I have to rent a space, and then I have to pay I don't many I don't know how many licenses, and I have to maybe get an employee. And what if I don't have enough money to pay my employee? So no, 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 no. I'll just stay home. That is fear of success. Negative self-talk. You tend to be pessimist with your inner dialogue about money. You blame yourself for your past financial mistakes, doubt your ability to manage money, or believe that you don't deserve it. I didn't have this much. However, I doubt the ability that I had to manage money because of lack of knowledge. And that's when I realized that, as okay, so we're going to work on that. We're going to get all the knowledge that you can have towards not only money mindset, but, financial education, investing, saving, and all of that. Avoidance. You avoid dealing with money or financial issues. Hello, that was me. I didn't even want to receive money from my clients. You don't have a financial plan. You ignore bills, avoid making a budget, and don't want to face financial challenges. This keeps you from trying and risking. Yeah, a little bit of, not everything, but a little bit of that. I prefer not to deal with money and not think about it, because then I thought, well, I have to deal with a lot, so maybe I just don't think about it. There's money in the bank, but maybe never taking any risks. Blame everyone and everything. Instead of owning your responsibility, it's easy to blame everybody else, the economy, the government, your upbringing, and such, in a way that prevents you from improving and being proactive. I've listened to this so many times from so many people, and sadly, my parents, my dad grew up like that. So that was the constant that I heard. I didn't copy it to an extreme, because I wasn't blaming everybody for my mistakes. I tend to blame myself a lot for my mistakes. But growing up thinking or listening to that is like, it takes away the responsibility from finding a solution as well. And that's the bad part. Envy and comparison. This is another one. You feel envy towards success from others. You compare yourself to them, and that leads to bitterness and an unhealthy obsession for material possessions. You feel that this is happening a lot with social media. You see people on Instagram, and I have to tell you, my lovely ones, my dear sweet friends, I don't know the percentage, but I easily will say that 80% of what you see or more on Facebook, on Instagram, and on social media, it's fake. It's staged. Most I don't do it myself, but you do. You kind of stage pictures so your cakes look nice. So if we do that with our cakes, imagine what other people do, with clothes, with places they're in, with you're thinking they're living the life, and they're making and they're all traveling like if you open an Instagram reel, everybody's traveling in first class right now. Everybody but you. And you will feel bad about it, and you want to, you compare to them. You create this bitterness and this unhealthy obsession of like, I don't have money, but I'm gonna pay my next flight on a first class, even though I don't have money to eat wherever I'm going, but I'm gonna do it because everybody's doing it. Don't compare yourself to others, especially on social media, because it's mostly fake. It's not worth it. Educate yourself towards your own finances. I think that's the best way to go. And of course, feeling envy towards other success. If I have a mission in my life, is to change that. We always need to be happy for everyone's success, because we succeed by making others succeed as well. That's my belief. Last but not least, not having any financial education. It is easy to keep blaming others than learning how to manage your money. And finally, you have an impulse for spending and accumulating things, debts, and feeling guilty afterwards. So you can be dealing with any of the issues that I just mentioned, or more than one, or maybe a nuance of one and the other. But until you face everything, you really have to sit down and have a conversation with yourself and see where you're standing. And if, like I said, and if you're standing in the other side of the spectrum, if you're standing in a position of, I love money, I know how to spend money. I know how to invest money. I think everybody should succeed. And, my mind is wealthy. Great. Embrace it and work with it because you are halfway there. When we come back, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to change all of these behaviors. As your K coach, I am here to help you. If you want to go a little bit further in your journey, to organize your time, set clear goals, maybe teach, work on your mindset, or set a roadmap for results, especially for results and success, I am here for you. Why don't you book a free discovery call with me? I will be leaving the links here in this episode so we can chat, we can talk about what you really need, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other. Remember, I have just one mission in this cake world. First is to unite the cake community as one and to make you, my cake artist, my sweet friend, understand the importance of investing in you. Like I said, I will be leaving the links here in the description of this episode so you can book a 30 minutes free discovery call with me. And just remember, in case nobody said this to you today, I do appreciate you and I want you to stay safe and stay creative. Hello, my friends. So here we are back, diving into this fascinating topic of cultivating a positive money mindset. Our thoughts and beliefs about money shape our financial decisions and ultimately influence our financial well-being. We know that. So let's explore some more practical strategies to develop a positive mindset, because what we want to do is to change all of the ones that we mentioned before. So the first one, first of all, I already said it. You have to reflect on your current beliefs and attitudes about money, okay? All of the things that I mentioned before in the other part of this episode, think about it. Where are you standing? Where are your issues? How they affect you? How they make you feel, okay? Another effective way to shift your mindset is through gratitude. You have no idea. If you have never tried this, you have no idea. I even get goosebumps right now that I'm talking to you. How much the feeling of gratitude anchors positive. You have no idea. Is the shifting emotion, is the anchor for positive. When I was taking part in this Tony Robbins event back in March, after we did many exercises, he always came back to the gratitude part. And I was like, oh, yeah, here we go again. To be grateful about what? I didn't know what to be grateful about it anymore. But when you get conscious about being grateful, when you're grateful, when you give grace, when you sit down and you give grace for the food that you're going to eat, for the family that you have, if you go to church or not, or if you meditate and you're in a state of grace with the things around you, you anchor that positiveness in yourself, and any decision, any thought, any idea that comes from that gratitude will be here to stay. It's like it's anchored there. It's amazing. I'm not going to go into giving you gratitude meditations, but if you can, just find one because they're really good. Gratitude allows us to appreciate the money we have and recognize the opportunity it brings. So even though if you don't have much, you say, well, I have this, I work for this. And this is the fruit of what I have done so far. I earned this. I deserve this. And if I'm going to spend it, I'm going to spend it in this much that I can. And I'm going to be grateful for this instead of, oh, I don't have enough. Sort of like the half empty, half full kind of, glass story. It's about focusing on what you have achieved and in the resources available to you, rather than dueling, like staying there and on what you lack. By shifting your mindset towards gratitude, you create a positive foundation for your relationship with money. Educate yourself. Enhance your financial knowledge and education. Learning about personal finances, budgeting, investing, and other relevant topics is key to build a good relationship with money. The more you understand about money, the more empowered and confident you will feel in managing your finances. That is what I've been doing since January until now. I have read books, I have seen videos, classes, I have talked to coaches, everything that will educate me towards knowing more about where to invest my money, how to save consciously, how to spend consciously. And my idea of money has changed drastically after that. Surround yourself with positive influences. This is key. Your peer groups, we talk about peer group here and being surrounded by positive people, but also with people that have a positive mindset towards money. Try to surround yourself with people who have knowledge about money, who have knowledge about finances, and just, ask them, listen to their conversations. What happens when you surround with positive people is that you absorb people who has positive mindset towards money, you absorb all that knowledge, which is the same thing that happens when you surround yourself by negative people. You absorb that negativity, you feel drained, you feel tired. We are greatly influenced by the people we are surrounded with. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who have a positive mindset towards money can inspire and motivate you. Engaging in conversations about personal finances with, peers, friends, family, colleagues who have healthy relationship with money is of incredible value, because that's how you learn. And don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask that question. Just be honest as I'm being here with all of you today. I was honest about my background. I was honest about my issues, but only by being honest is where I can stand in a clear path that say, okay, where am I going to build from here? So that's what I'm doing. I'm asking the right people the right question. Another very important thing to do is setting goals. You know me, I'm the setting goal person, and it works. Like I mentioned before, it works. But when you set goals and create a financial plan as well, because it's not only setting goals about achievements, about your life, but also about your finances, you know how much you're going to invest, you know how much you're going to spend, you know where all your money is. And you know how much I believe in goal setting. So I have to say, money is not an exception. When you establish a clear financial goal that aligns with your aspirations, and then you break it down into actionable steps and create a plan to achieve it, you create a roadmap. And that roadmap can provide a sense of direction and motivation. I always insist in this. When you have a roadmap, when you know when you're going, that's where you keep the motivation alive. Otherwise, it will run out. This is the way, I believe, to show a positive outlook on your financial future. So, like I did with all the rest of my goals, I established a goal for this year. For me, it was an obtainable goal, an achievable goal, something that I knew I could get there. And funny enough, it's not about the amount of money I'm going to get, it's to educate myself about the money. And believe me or not, money has been getting in anyway. Shifting our mindset from scarcity to abundance is another important aspect of cultivating a positive money mindset. How we're going to change it? Well, it's a work. It's something you need to do. It's something you need to work on yourself. If I can make it simple, it's all about changing our perspective. Instead of focusing on what we lack or what we don't have or what we can't afford, we shift our attention to the possible opportunities that exist. I keep telling this to my kids. I have 2 daughters. One is 20-year-old. So she grew up with my scarcity mind from my upbringing, okay? And many times I got to the point that we don't have money for that yet because we copy from our parents. That's too expensive. We're not going to spend money on that. And of course, that created on her the same scarcity mind that I had. Right now, my work with her is to change that mindset. As with my youngest daughter, who is 11 years old, because they have a big difference, they have 8 years difference. I already started educating her into a different path. My 20-year-old is starting to work. She's having her first job. She's starting to manage money. So what I'm trying to do with her is to shift that mindset towards the positive, towards what you can have with what you're making instead of what you lack because you're not making enough. And it's working. Actually, it's working in everybody in our family, because it's been a change in the household for all of us. And it's incredible, because instead of focusing on, oh, we cannot afford a 5-star vacation in a 4-inch country. It's like, no, but we can afford a vacation in Portugal. With a lot of people come to this country to spend their vacation as tourists, and so many people are coming to live from abroad to live here in Portugal, because Portugal offers, a great weather. It's a beautiful country. So let's get to know our country, and we're trying to find the positive in what we have instead of dwelling in what we don't have. So let's just recap, because I don't want you to get lost in all of the ideas. We started talking about educating yourself. The second aspect was surrounding yourself with positive influences. Then setting clear goals, financially, of course, shifting the scarcity mindset to abundance by focusing on what you have instead of what you don't have. And that also is important to view your financial setback as learning opportunities instead of dwelling in it. See them as opportunities to grow and develop your financial skills. Adopt a solution-oriented mindset, like you're seeking ways to overcome. You're resourceful. You face the challenge instead of dwelling in, I haven't saved money in so many years. I'm starting old. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, you're starting now. That's better than not starting at all. And another thing to consider, because and it's funny, this comes from one of the books that I've been reading, is that a lot of people who will give you financial advice, or we think that taking care of our money is saving our money and not spending. But we also have to have a mindful spending conscience, because it's okay to spend. It's a practice that supports a positive money mindset. It's not, oh, I'm spending money. When you already have your money organized, or your mindset is towards, I'm investing, I'm saving, I'm working towards a purpose. Also, spending is important, spending on the things that you love. Mindful spending involves being conscious of our financial choices. It's all about deciding where to spend, on what to spend, and what values and priorities the things that we spend on give us. So spend on what you love. Before making a purchase, we ask, before buying anything, before making a purchase, just ask yourself whether you truly need this, whether this is aligned with your ultimate goal. Is this something that is going to bring me a long-term satisfaction? And then you practice this mindful spending as something that is going to give you a reward. For me, it's knowledge. Anything that I can spend on knowledge, for me, it's a long-term reward and satisfaction. So I don't see the price. It's like, I'm learning. I'm taking so much from this that if I have the money, I'm going to spend it. You can make intentional choices like that. And that will actually shift your mindfulness towards your money. It's crazy, but it's true. I've lived it myself. Before that, I'm going to tell you, I was the person that I never buy things for myself, like clothes and it's rare that I do. I love dresses though. I love dresses, and I do spend on dresses, but I spend on sale, usually when they're on sale. But like normally going out and buying things for me, I love buying things for other people, but not for me. Because I will stay, I mean, I will buy, I don't know, let's say a pair of shoes. And I will come home with those pairs of shoes and I will start like, I don't need this. Why did I buy this? And I will spend a week, dwelling on that. It's like, I could have done so much with the money. Why would I do this? See, now I have less money on my bank account. And that will create this feeling of scarcity, of of not being enough. It was bad. It was really bad, until I decided, okay, if I'm already saving my money, if I'm already investing my money, if I know where my money is going, if I have a goal on the money, I can spend on this and I'm okay with it. It changed immediately because you're conscious about what you're spending and not just spending. And I guess you can talk about that when you're a cake artist and you're spending in thousands of cookie cutters or nozzles, or I don't know, teens, you name it, because we tend to spend a lot in our business. But if it serves the purpose of your business, if it serves your goal, don't feel bad about it. And finally, celebrate your financial achievement. No matter how small, no matter how big. I mean, if this month you manage to organize your finances, save some money, invest some money, have a clear purpose, if you can go out and buy yourself that big cup of cappuccino that you wanted, go and buy yourself that big cup of cappuccino. Just celebrate it. Acknowledging your progress is giving yourself credit for reaching a milestone, for getting to a point in your financial journey where you feel comfortable. Celebrating, reinforcing winnings is a positive money mindset and motivates you to continue moving forward. It's like, like the dog and the treat. If the dog behaves well and you give the dog a treat, the dog is going to keep doing that behavior because it's going to say, oh, this is good what I'm doing. So you're going to pet yourself. You're going to say, yeah, I'm going to give myself that treat. It's funny because one of the last things that I learned to change this money mindset is self-care. And you will think, what does that have to do with money? Well, when you take care of yourself, because it all comes down to the importance and the vision that you have towards money. It's equally related to the importance and the vision that you have about yourself and the worth that you give to yourself. When you take care of yourself and your well-being is essential for you, it's like you correlate that to your money mindset. When you practice self-care activities that help you reduce stress, like exercise, meditation, spending times with the people that you love, or pursuing a hobby, even making a better equipment for your cake business that it's making you happy, all of that gives you that feeling that you're spending not money but time and energy in yourself, and you feel good, you feel rewarded. So immediately when you think about spending money, you will have a positive mindset towards that spending. Cultivating a positive money mindset is a process. It's not something that you do overnight. It's not something that you say, well, I'm going to do exactly what Christina said and I'm going to be fine. No, it's going to take time. If you keep doing it, if you keep taking care of all of the steps that I just mentioned to you today, first of all, acknowledge your flaws and acknowledge where you are. Very important. And then take one or two or three of the tips that I gave you today and start practicing it. Along the next few months, you're going to say, oh, I feel better spending. Or, see, my money is more organized. Or, my business is growing and I know what to do with the growth of the business. So, okay, I must be doing something right because this thing is working. This is actually a process. It's not something that you do overnight. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with the time and the effort that you're going to put into this process. You can develop a healthier and more positive relationship with money, but you have to do the work. And the first part of the work is the hardest, which is to be honest with yourself and see where your issues with money are. How to make all of this into a cake related topic? People, it's all about thinking of our business as, or cake business, or our creative business as ourselves, as a person. Where do we stand with our cake business in the money mindset? Am I charging enough for my cakes? Am I, calculating correctly the costs of my cakes? Am I adding working hours into my cake costs? Because the working hours are the hours that you value yourself for the work that you're doing. How do I feel charging for the cakes? What is the conversation that I have with my clients about money? Where do I stand? Like myself before, I was afraid of talking about money. So I was under charging for my cakes because I was afraid of talking about money with my clients, because I was raised not talking about money and not facing that. How much do I spend on my business as well? How do I feel spending on my business, making my business grow, or buying more supplies, or buying more equipment? If I know that serves my final purpose or my final goal as a cake artist. Investing on retreats, learning, classes, trips, all of that. Is that important? Or am I just spending because everybody else is doing it, but it doesn't serve any good to my business at the end of the day? All of this is as important in your business as it is on you, but you have to start with yourself. When you shift that mindset towards money, as a person, you will shift that money mindset towards your business as well. So this is what I got for you today. I really, really, really hope, because this is a topic that has been a touchy topic for me for a long time. Never in my life, like last year when this podcast started, I would have never, ever done an episode about money. Never. And today I'm able to talk about it. I'm able to be open about it. I'm able to share with you everything that I have learned. And applying that into my life has made a huge difference. And it's funny because it's not about making more money. I'm not making more money. Actually, things are more expensive now. The economy is going crazy. But I'm having more money than I used to, because I know where my money is going. I have more ability to manage my money, have more knowledge to manage my money, and I feel good about it. I feel comfortable about it. And it's because it has been a process. I really hope that you can take away my journey as help. And if you are, like I said, if you are in the other side of this coin, in the other side of this spectrum of money mindset, and you're already there, just enjoy it, celebrate it, invest in your business, grow as a cake artist, because you deserve it. With this, I say goodbye, as I always say goodbye, my friends. Stay safe and stay creative. See you next time. My sweet, sweet friend, if you liked this episode, if you love this podcast, I will kindly ask you to leave me a started review, whatever you're listening to this episode. That is available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and I think a couple of other ones. But in any of those, just leave me a review. Leave me a couple of stars, or 5 stars if you like it. So people will find this episode, the algorithm will put it out there, and more of our K community will benefit from it. Share it with your friends. Download the episode and share them. Share them on your social media and tag me, because I will answer you back. Of course I will. And send me comments, send me your review, send me your feedback. Even if you don't agree with anything that I say, I would love to hear your opinion. You can find me in any of my social media accounts. I will be leaving the links here on this episode description. I'm on Facebook as The Art Cake Experience. I am on Instagram at Christina_The Art Cake Experience. Or you can even find me on YouTube, my YouTube channel, The Art Cake Experience channel. So thank you so much for listening. And please leave me your review and leave me your comments and your feedback. I would love to hear what you have to say about any of this episode.